Hello, this is Blair of Chaos Costumes, and I am here to teach you how to use Nomad. The first lesson will be making a very simple sculpture and being able to print it, so let's go. Let's start out with a simple design to learn the basic tools of Nomad. First, we're going to learn how to build primitives up. So here we have a sphere, S-F-E-E-R-E. Yes, that's what we're gonna call it. And from the sphere, we're gonna build out the snowman. So right now, I selected the clone tool. So I already have the sphere, and so I can make another sphere with the clone tool. And then we'll add another sphere to flesh out the body and resize it with this large orange circle on the side here. That's what I use to resize things with the gizmo tool. Now we have the head selected, and we're gonna make eyeballs with that sphere. So we'll resize it with the big orange circle and push it and pull it around to get it where the eyeballs sit. What I'm gonna add is a symmetry modifier, and now I'll be adding a mirror modifier so that now those eyes go from one eye to two eye. If you're having trouble with the mirror and moving things around with the gizmo, make sure you don't have the mirror selected because it's moving the whole thing. So now we're gonna add a cone for the nose. And now he has a little bee stinger on top, but actually it's an enormous cone. So what I'm gonna turn on is the snapping. So when I rotate it, not like that though. So what happened is that the cone got merged into the mirror layer, and I don't want that. I don't want multiple shapes. Now I can rotate just one with the snapping tool turned to 90 degrees. And now I'm resizing it with big orange circle to make it small enough, and pushing it back with the green arrow, and then elongating it to make it more carrot-like. I think he needs some buttons, so we're gonna add a sphere again for the buttons. And obviously that's way too big and not appropriate, but we're gonna use the gizmo to push it around. Now that we're happy with it, what I'm gonna do is create the subdivision really small so it's faceted, kind of like a piece of coal. And that's a fast and easy way to make things more lumpy. And then we're gonna go in with the clone tool and make 3 buttons. So inside of the gizmo, we select the clone and then move it down, and I'll make a copy. You could also do this for the eyes as well if you make a new primitive, but since we cloned the original primitive, it won't do it that way. Next up, we're making arms with the tube tool. So that's my favorite way to make branches or anything similar like antlers, is using the tube tool. And now I'm pushing the nodes around so that it sits right. And then I turn on the radius tool and taper it. So those little orange dots are the radius. And then if you make a shape that way, you can make a copy of the way that you rendered it by just drawing another tube. So right now, these edges don't quite line up, so I'm pushing them around until they do, and modifying the radius so that it does match up. So now that I have those 2 tubes, you can see them there, I'm gonna join them, and that will validate them, and so that I can add a mirror modifier to them. So now he has 2 arms. Now just dragging them further into his little body so that they're actually connected. I had the snapping tool still turned on, so I turned that off so I can rotate his little arms easier. So his butt is too round, so we need to flatten that out so that he sits level on a surface. So I selected the trim tool to cut his little butt off with the rectangle tool. Okay, so future Blair here. I completely forgot to teach you something. So you can rotate the field of view by clicking the outside of your sculpture, but this little cube in the corner, that's kind of important, and that locks your view so that when you do trim things, it's perfectly square, right? Perfectly perpendicular to what you're working with. So yeah, that's a little bit important. Also, you wanna make sure your view isn't orthographic. That is all. Thank you, bye. I feel like this guy needs a hat, so let's add a cylinder. So now I'm just working on the brim right now, so we're shortening it with those green nodes. And then I'll go in with the clone tool to make the rest of his hat, because they're the same primitives and the same shapes. So there we go again, where we're modifying it with the nodes, but I really want to go in with the gizmo and change the size of it. So I'm just dragging it by the big orange circle. And you can lengthen it by selecting those little round dots there. That changes the shape and size of just one angle. So now I'm duplicating it again so I can make a brim for his hat, a little hat band? Yes, hat band. What I did there is now I'm selecting everything so I can join it together. So now it's just one shape and it validates it all. I'm going in with a subdivide so it makes it nice and smooth and rounds out those corners. And there we have a little snowman guy. Look at the little guy. He's pretty much ready to print. But I will say that those arms are going to cause problems when you go to print it. Those arms will be very difficult to support. But when you do go to print something, you want to join everything together, otherwise it will not print together. One way you can do that is voxel remeshing it. And if you remesh it together like that, then it'll all glue it together. So if you see, there is nothing overlapping on the inside anymore. And if you look now, before I did that, all these shapes are overlapping each other. Since these arms are going to cause a problem when printing, what we're going to do is select the arms and just get rid of them for the sake of 3D printing. The reason why these will cause such a problem is that they will be really fragile. There has to be support material that comes all the way up to them. You can print it, but it's really hard for beginners. So we're just going to delete those arms before we print him. And then we'll glue all these shapes together. You can either select everything this way, or you can use the select tool over here and select everything. And then hit join. And it'll join everything together. Right now there's a mirror in here. You want to select the mirror also and join that too. And then that will make it successful to print in one file. After that, you see this is like 1.4 million vertices. That's too many vertices. So we're gonna go in and we're gonna decimate this. So we'll hit decimate in this menu up here, right? So we have multi-res, voxel, aerodynamic topology, and miscellaneous. It's under miscellaneous and we'll decimate that. So now it's at 223K. That's still quite a bit for how simple this model is. So we're going to decimate it one more time. If it's too much, all these little triangles will be a little too aggressive, and it'll probably be a little too much because we're doing it to 22%. I typically don't go that far. Honestly, it doesn't like it at all. Let's bring this up to 50% and plug in my iPad because it's about to die. Let's say like about 40% and decimate it. And see where it's at. If you decimate it too much, what'll happen is that this geometry will get really weird. So we don't want that. Let's increase the amount. What's the percentage of decimate? So we'll increase that. Get rid of the even topology and go from there. That's better. Let's try it one more time. It feels like this hat will really get weird. We'll look at the wire mesh. It's pretty loose. Decimate it one more time. Here. Yeah, that'll be good. So you want it to be under 200K typically when you go to print something. Now that this is decimated, now we're ready to export it. So we'll go in to the selected thing, but I like to name it before I do that. So we'll just name it Snowman. So export the STL because that's what you need. OBJ works too, but I like using STLs. Export the STL. I like to save it to my drive and then upload it from there. And now you got a snowman. And now we move on to the slicing software. So we're going to open up a new project. And what you'll see here is the build plate if you have chosen Orca Slicer or Bamboo Slicer. We're going to go into the file and import the STL that we have created. You have to download this. And we're going to click open. What happens here, this little pop-up that says object too small. So when you make something in Nomad and you don't resize it to what you need it to be and measure that, it will be almost microscopic. So in this slicer, you want to hit yes, so it resizes correctly. So we're gonna select yes and import our object. So now it's a reasonable size. Primarily, the settings that you want are already automatically in there. We're gonna go with random for the seam position. And that will just make little dots everywhere where you want them to be. If you make it aligned or in a straight line, the seam will be very obvious. I don't tend to mess with any of these other settings down here. I'm gonna go to the strength option. So right now I have it on 2 wall loops. Sometimes I go to 3 for the most strength. And then down here, the top surface pattern will go concentric since it's a round object. I tend to prefer the lightning infill if I have 3 walls, especially for things that are only aesthetic and not necessary for functionality. The speed should be automatically inputted For the support, right now nothing is toggled, but we want to enable support, and I tend to prefer the tree style of support. Sometimes I mess with the top Z distance and make it 0.25, just so the supports are a little easier to remove. These other settings don't matter as much. The setting that I like to use is the outer and inner brim for the best adhesion. So technically we can print it straight up and down, but since the nose is sticking out that much, it's not ideal. So let's tilt it back a little bit to print it this way. Then we're going to go into this menu, and that's where you paint in your supports. So right now where that red is where the supports will be built, but it's not really that sturdy. So right now I'm widening these support sections and bracing all the way up to the hat, just to ensure success. Right now I'm making sure this corner prints well. I'm going to go in with the fill bucket tool and fill in that entire section. Now I'm going to determine where the seam is going to be. So I'll make the brush size nice and fat and just paint all the way down the back so all of those little bumps that happen are on the back. This line doesn't have to be perfect because you're not really going to notice it. It has to be on the back side of your sculpt. Really, you don't need this, and it will still look good regardless, but that's just a little finishing touch that I like to do. So now we're going to slice this plate, and this is where the supports are built. So the green is where the supports are, and the orange is where your model is. So I see that there's a little support being built under that button. It's not really necessary and not particularly structural. So we're going to go in, and if you right click with the support tool, it will make a negative. So red is where support will not be made, in that bright red. In Bamboo Slicer, it's a little bit of a different color, but it does the same thing. So now that I'm happy with the supports, it's time to print. So we'll click Print Plate, choose the filament color that we want, and then we hit Send, and it will send it through the cloud and then to the printer. And if you have a Bamboo printer, it will pull up this screen where you have a time lapse of what is printing, and this is what's available in the P1P and up. Let's crack this baby off the build plate. Come here. Turned out pretty good. So one of my favorite tools to break off support material are these like needle nose curved pliers. So I just kind of grab what I'm working with and it comes right off. Look at that. And then this little butt. There we go. Got it. Just a little guy. So, how'd you do? How'd it go? Was it comprehensive? Was it understandable? Was it intelligible? Let me know in the comments below and we'll go from there, alright? I really appreciate you guys and I hope to teach you more about Nomad. Also, I printed a little finger cage because I broke the tip of my finger, and now my finger is in finger jail. See you guys around.